Gotcha. Okay. Can everyone see what I'm doing? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay. I don't know about this one because you've already Tanuki'd A, and now you're going to Tanuki B as well and start a fight over at C. That will be 3 fights, which can get really confusing.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I was black, I'd go ahead and just punish. I mean, it's not like it's that bad for white. It's just, white Tanuki and he got to approach. You need to like go punish, right? So here, when black goes here, I'm kind of thinking, is there a way I can support A while helping B? And so maybe I start looking at this direction, or maybe even this direction, and see if there's some sort of combination I can do. But I don't know if I would want to start a third fight because this is going to get really complex. Oof. No, I would want Sente. I would want Sente so I can go attack white. This is why 3 fights when you can 4 fights, right? Direction of play, top side should be the more open side, right? So maybe this. That way you were helping D16. So I think you're not looking at combinations very much. I think you're just playing Joseki and Joseki and Joseki, but you're not thinking about like the big picture of what do you want to do next, what are you combining with, etc.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, this one also might look good. But then the pincer, maybe you could do this. It's something. I don't know. I'm not a pro. It's too like this is too complex for me. I can't tell you the best move, but I don't want my stones not working together though. It just feels too complex. There's too many things going on. That's AI making me questioning everything. Okay, so before AI, this is a mistake. Like absolutely. Right. After AI though, maybe it's not because maybe we want the top side because the top side direction of play, right?
Yeah.
I think you need to go down though.
Yeah, I remember getting punished by high duns, and I forgot the move for the punishment. And then after in the review, I was like, "Oh, I was supposed to play S17."
Yeah, that's the punishment.
Yeah.
But in modern play, it's actually here because they're supposed to connect here and let you connect, and this shape looks better than this shape.
Okay.
Because I guess you would rather one be at here because the people on the inside isn't as bad as the squeeze. So you would rather it look like this.
Okay.
Or maybe like that. So you can see the difference.
Yeah. So it's not.
So AI made it all complicated. But maybe your opponent doesn't know it. So I'd still descend. I would descend until like 3 Dawn, 2 Dawn, 3 Dawn. Like at that point, I would just assume that they know it and they're just playing the AI stuff. But I don't know if I would assume that a 6Q would know the AI Josekis. So I would just descend until like 2 Dawn. And then if they go here, then you get to punish.
Right.
And for Shusaku, this is the punishment. And that dies. Or if you try to save it, then this stone dies. So an older play, this Hane was a mistake, but a modern play, you just connect and you can get influence, and the influence isn't that bad according to AI. So basically, it's like everything everything that I know is like before AI. So it's like AI came along and said, "Okay, now you know nothing again. Good job. All like 10 years of study, no worries. Just delete it. Go learn new stuff." So you got to be careful whenever you see a mistake that you know is a mistake. You have to always think, okay, is this actually a mistake or is this a new AI Joseki? And from there, you just need to apply more reading, right? So when you cut, it's reading intensive. But I still think the whole reason that this Hane we're even talking about it is because the direction of play was the top side.
Okay.
Right? Which means you could have made it much simpler and just played the top side. There's much simpler Joseki to choose. What do I want to do? Okay, so I block. Let's assume they connect. And then Atari there. Can I exchange? Probably not. So go one more. Can I exchange now? Yes. Because I'm okay. So they can go here and here and here and here. And then here. Is this good for black or bad for black? I don't know. I don't know. This is why that Nobi is important. But I think this is the vital point because this is the eye space for both players. That's what we want to look at. So let's rewind for a second. Instead of thinking what's the best move, let's just think about it this way. Let's say assume I have no idea what to do. I have no idea what the Joseki is. What do we think about? Defense first. Okay. What do we got to defend? We need to defend A. So we need to think eye space, expand eye space. So you're kind of doing that. But if we think about it as expand eye space while also taking eye space, this one might look better. They can play this, but I don't think they're going to go for the tombstone stuff because look at these tombstones. It doesn't look good. So I don't think they're going to go for that. I think they're going to defend. And I would love to do this, but like we can't. Unless you can find some cool sequence here to kill black, which I don't think you can. So I think S18 is still the move. This is like really nice. This is double Sente for both to get the eyes in the corner. Whoever gets this move is gonna have better eye shape. Oh, black gets it. Okay. This is reasonable. Reasonable. I'm not sure how necessary this is. Probably just here. Because the liberties still don't look that great for you. And it's not like this cut activates. But this cut might. I'll say it's not important. As long as you fix Q18, it's not important. Like we can argue the pros and cons of this, but it's probably not relevant at this level. Okay, so we're attaching. Any particular reason?
Well, it's not exactly a strong wall on the right, but I felt like I had some influence on the right, so I wanted to make it really big on the top.
Okay. What do you want to happen on the top?
Well, I figured he would play D13 and we would go into either an older or modern Joseki, but I figured I'd get a wall facing a wall for the top.
Okay. And what do you think will happen with that wall? What do you plan to use it for?
Well, I thought I could build a large amount of territory at the top.
Okay, so we're going for territory. We're not going to attack something. We're going for territory.
Yes.
Okay, then the move you want is this one. Because this one technically gets the territory.
Okay.
This one is along the same idea as this one, where your aim is to get influence, maybe here or here. And if black invades, you will get to attack for profit because you made a moyo or a framework. And so we apply that kind of logic. So influence is meant to attack things. Territory is seal things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, again, this is my old-fashioned knowledge, but this move is wrong 90% of the time, according to pros. Before AI, according to pros, before AI. This move is wrong 90% of the time. So probably it's not a move we should use. There's very few exceptions to this, and it's usually when you're making over concentrated or something. So probably if you really want to do that, I would cap. But again, my Joseki knowledge is still outdated. So I actually have no idea what the AI thinks about the attach because I don't play the attach. It's not one of my moves. I would play this one because I think direction of play, left side's the direction of play. I'm not really worried about the influence. I have a stone right here for the influence. I can push up. I'm not worried about black's influence at all. I'm just thinking directional play is open side. That's all I'm thinking about. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of this move, but I don't want to tell you that it's bad because I don't think I'm strong enough to say that it's just bad. But for your idea of territory, I think this one's probably better. Now, the way this usually goes is when they go in, you want to cut and pincer. That's usually the Joseki, because if you do this, you technically have an empty triangle. And this empty triangle was considered not good shape. You'd rather it be a Hane. So if you Tawari it somehow, or just look at the shape, it's not ideal. However, I think the AI says it's okay. So don't take all of my Joseki knowledge with a grain of salt. But from my old knowledge, I think this is not the direction you would choose with the attachment. Because again, directional plays the open side. And this is also the Joseki that you're supposed to play way back when. So again, I don't know. But that is my feedback on your Joseki choice is I would prefer a pincer because I'm thinking open side. I also have a weak stone over here. So I'm thinking like you're picking Joseki just for the sake of the local Joseki, and you're not really thinking about what's the next thing you want to do. Because you're even here, you were thinking about, okay, I want to deal with this influence. To me, the influence doesn't exist. And you're not even mentioning that you have a stone in the bottom left that you Tanuki. And I think in my classy approach, I have defend your weak groups first. So in my mind, I'm not even thinking of the top right. I'm thinking of the left side as directional play and have a weak group at D4. So you did choose this move.
Yeah, I figured it worked well with the bottom stone. I changed my mind when he
Okay,
played.
no.
C17.
You're 2Q going on Dawn level. You can't change your mind in the middle of the Joseki. That doesn't work.
Well, I wasn't expecting C17. I was kind of surprised by it.
What?
To be fair,
this is the Joseki, isn't it?
I'm used to either C15 or C16, but I'm not used to that one.
Black has 3 options.
Yeah, I didn't know about that third one.
Okay, so you need to update your Joseki knowledge.
Hmm.
C is the most common in my opinion. A is when you just don't want to give a white the left, which maybe A makes sense here, but that's a lot of territory on top. I don't know. My first instinct is the 3-3. His territory, right?
Yeah.
But maybe B is better here because the left side is interesting, but you also don't want to give a big corner. So maybe that's fine. Maybe you can jump. I don't know. Actually, like I said, I don't know the exact best Joseki. I know C is the most common in my in my priority list. It goes C, A, B. That's the priorities that I would check.
Gotcha.
So yeah, this is the lack of Joseki knowledge because it's definitely Black's choice here. There's definitely more options. But for Black, this is not the Joseki. If you wanted to defend the side, then just not there. Then just go for the side. This is actually quite easy for Black. And then you can go attack. And then take Sentango on top later. So this feels inconsistent. So as white, yeah, I want to cut. I was looking at this one, but maybe yours is better. No, I think this one's better because Black doesn't have time to block right here and try to create this to Suji. I don't know if Black has time to do that, but maybe he does. But even still, you got a Tiger's Mouth. Okay, maybe yours is better. I don't know. Yeah, definitely cut and attack. You definitely have that right. So up to this point, your follow-up or your punishment here, I think, is correct. I think Black shouldn't have chose the 3-3 and then connected because now just too many problems. That is not a ladder. Knight's moves are cuttable. It's one of my favorite phrases to say to my students. Always read the knight's moves. Knight's moves are cuttable. This is not a ladder. You're in trouble.
I think I misread this ladder though in the game.
So it's I'm gonna have to be a little bit mean here because a 6Q, it's common to not read the cutting point. So I'm gonna like tell Shusaku like read your cutting points. It's the most important thing to do at single digit Q. But as a 2Q, I'm going to hold you to the Dawn standards because that's what you need to get to, right? So not seeing that ladder is kind of a big blunder that's below your level.
Yeah,
This is like the problem.
I've been misreading a lot of ladders lately.
Well,
but I did think of the cut because I always think of the Knight's cut.
Yeah. Always check it. Now, if you're misreading the ladders often, you need to figure out why. Because it's one thing to say like, oh, I'm doing this often. This is a common mistake with me. Well, if you can identify it, then why not work on it?
Right.
So if you're saying that you're misreading ladders, why are you not doing ladder go problems? Why are you not practicing it, right? Or make sure you like double check during the game. This is a shape I commonly mess up. Let's double check it, right? Take the time to double check. So that goes into discipline and study. And if you're not careful, 2Q and 1Q is the most dangerous ranks for Q players. They get stuck because bad habits or lack of any basic knowledge will stop you from getting to Dawn level. And you don't want to let that happen. So you want to do everything you can to get from 2Q to 1 Dawn. And you want to build your good. And don't just think about study and shape knowledge. Think about your habits during the game, your habits outside of the game, your patience, your mental stamina. Do you lose focus in the second half? Well, maybe you need to like double down on the focus. I've told my students like, okay, in the second half of the game, like walk away for like 30 seconds, grab a thing of tea, drink some tea, come back, reset, right? To double down on the focus. You've done half the game well, then do whatever you have to get the second half of the game well. So I really want you focusing because 2Q to 1Q or 2Q to 1 Dawn takes as long as like 9Q to 2Q. So you have to like double down and like really hold yourself to a higher level so that way you can get to that next level. Because you're almost there. You're almost at Dawn level, right? So you have to like hold yourself accountable and put that extra effort in. Did you check your Knight's move?
Yes.
Okay. So if I push and cut, what's your answer? You're not trying to.
Pretty sure I can.
Do you not remember, or are you trying to figure it out now?
I'm trying to figure it out now. I don't remember. I'm almost looking at like H14, but I don't think that works too well.
Okay. Well, regardless of what you figured out now, we need to think. What were you thinking about during the game? Did you check the Knights? Did you have a response to it?
I see. Okay. Yeah. I don't remember now. It's been a week, to be fair.
Yeah,
I played a lot of games in between.
I think a Knight's move is something that I don't know. To me, it feels so important that I would know if I did or not. I think. Okay. But if you've played like 30 games since last week, then maybe you wouldn't remember. I don't know. But what I want you to take away from this is like, make sure you're actually looking through it, right? And you're actually checking. And make sure you actually have a response. You don't let any cutting points get you off guard. It's the most important thing at the single digit Q level, or at the Q level in general, is read your cutting points. They should never ever catch you off guard. If you're going to read anything and go, read life and death and cutting points. When a group gets surrounded, you need to read how it lives before you leave. If you have a cutting point, you need to know if it works or not. Those are the two most important things for a Q player to read. Make sure you do not underestimate it. Now, is it cuttable? I don't know. Considering you can just literally kill 3 stones to live, maybe it's fine. But black also might just sacrifice the 3 stones to destroy the outside. So I don't know. Is this good for black or bad for black? I don't know. There's too many things. There's too many things happening. I just want to simplify the game into basics. Like I can't tell you in like 1 minute like what's happening. I would have to like read and count and analyze. So I don't know, but as long as you have a response, it's okay. Why are we not playing a Hane? Because if we have a response to the knight's move here, then we're fine, right?
Mhm.
So this Nobi tells me that your response to the knight's move is not to cut through black, which makes sense because you didn't cut in the first place. So that means your response must have been a Nobi. But then if it's a Nobi, what's the difference between that and the Hane? Because that's a Nobi as well. So it doesn't make sense why you're not Haneing here. So this makes me question if you actually had a plan for that cutting point, which is dangerous because yes, black is weak and you can attack him, but you're also weak. And we know that because you don't have any eye space. Like if you Tanuki right now and do something over here and black surrounds you, that looks like a weak group. Yes, black is probably too weak to attack you, but the point still stands that you are technically a weak group. Okay. So what I teach my students at single digit Q is use aggressive defense. Okay. What that means is don't go attacking your opponent willy-nilly with cutting points. We need to say, I'm going to play defense here. Yes, black has potentially a weak group right here, definitely a weak group right here, but you have a weak group and you have a weak group over here. So in my mind, I'm just like, okay, let's play defense. My double digit Q answer is run away. That's it. Simple as that. 1 point jump, run away, easy peasy. Okay. My single digit Q answer is, can I use my opponent's Aji to run away better? So then I start looking at cutting points. I start looking at like peeps and threats to try to get out faster. I start trying leaning moves, something that helps my group by using my opponent's Aji. And I call that aggressive defense. And I like to label things because it makes it easier to remember. So I tell my students, when you are in a fight with both players are weak, try implementing aggressive defense. Because if you start trying to go gung-ho on the attack, what happens if your opponent lives through by killing you? It's very dangerous, right? You have to be very careful. So I like to think of it as, instead of saying I'm attacking my opponent, try to think of I'm playing defense by using my opponent's Aji. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then you'll start looking at your cutting points a lot more.
Okay.
So here, if we're playing offense, I want to see like offense. I want to see surrounding. I want to see max pressure. But if we're playing defense, then I just want to see defense. Like what's the difference? Like what are we doing? So I want your play to be consistent. For black, maybe this is fine. But I'm also looking at, can I use this stone in any way? Is there anything I can do right here? This cutting point is so dangerous. I hate it. I really want to fix, like, I'm worried even about this though. But maybe this is fine. I don't know. And then we have the fun reading here. I don't know. I really want to try something to help my weak group by using this stone. And then later I could come out here almost in Sente. And then white has like no territory, which would be nice. Okay, this is a good default shape. So this is good for a 6Q. At single digit Q though, we want to see if we can do a little bit more, but it is more reading intensive, and I'm not convinced that you can do this. So this is acceptable because you have to fix your cut. Do we have time for this? Is this okay? Because don't we have the A group?
Timothy's definitely next.
Yeah, Timothy is next.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'll say think about your Joseki direction to play a little bit more, Joseki combinations. Understand aggressive defense, and both players should watch their cutting points.
Okay.
Read the cutting points, read the cutting points, please read the cutting points. Most important thing.